In the previous video, we were able to discuss the length of a line segment and the midpoint. So in this part, we were able to have the first example for the midpoint formula problem. So this time, we will have one example of a length of a line segment. So as a recap, the formula to solve for the length of a line segment is d is equal to the square root of x sub 2 minus x sub 1 quantity squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 quantity squared. So this will be the formula that we will utilizing to be able to find the length of a line segment. Now, let's start with this example. The distance between 2 points, point P, negative 2a, and Q, a minus 2, negative 7, is 17. So find the two possible values of a. Now, the first thing that we need to do here, we need to decide first which values to use for x sub 1, y sub 1, and for x sub 2 and y sub 2. Because we can use either of the first 2 points. So that's why we need to decide. Now, for instance, if we want to decide that we will have negative 2 in the A, suppose we decide that this will be our x sub 1 and this will be our y sub 1. In addition to that, we can have our a minus 2, negative 7. So this will be your x sub 2 and this one will be your y sub 2. Okay, so we're done. We already decided on which values to use for your x sub 1, y sub 1, and x sub 2, y sub 2. Now, let's get started. Now, using the formula that we had in the first video or in the previous video, we can say that using the formula, or we will just have the d is equal to the square root of x sub 2 minus x sub 1 okay, squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. Okay, so we can state that this will be equal to 17 because the given value, the result will be equal to 17. Okay, now let's proceed. So that you will not be confused, we can say, and just put an arrow here. Okay, this will emphasize that in solving the length of a line segment, D, that's the formula. So given 17 here is the result. So we will be finding again the two possible values of A. Now, let's proceed. So substitute these given values here. Substitute to the formula. So our x sub 2, is equal to, so becomes x sub 2 is a minus 2. Let's put it there. That would be a minus 2 minus the x sub 1 is negative 2. So always enclose in a parenthesis to avoid confusion. They always enclose in a parenthesis to avoid confusion. So this will be raised to the second power. Parenthesis is very helpful in problems like this. This becomes plus. Next, let's proceed to y sub 2. So based on the given here, our y sub 2 is negative 7. So that would be negative 7 close minus our y sub 1 is a, so we can just put a directly. Again, parentheses, that would be squared is equal to 17. That's it. Okay, let's proceed. Let's start to evaluate this. So if we're going to evaluate this, as you can see here, this will be negative 2. So negative and negative, this becomes positive. So this will give us 0 on this part. So if we're going to simplify it, we will have this a squared plus, simplify the one on the other side. Okay, so we have negative 7 minus a squared. So we can expand this. Just do the expansion. So we're going to expand this. We're going to have 49 square of negative 7 plus 14a. So how did we get 14a? So this is a binomial. So basically that would be 2 times the first term times the second term to be able to get the middle term. So that's why we have 14a. Now let's just put some parentheses here so that it will emphasize that this is the second part. So here, the first part, we only have a squared because the negative 2 and the positive 2 was eliminated. So we now have 49 plus 14a, and then we're going to square the last term here. So that would give us positive a squared. Okay, close is equal to 289. So we were able to eliminate the square root by getting the square or squaring it. So that becomes 289 over 17. Now let's proceed. Let's evaluate this. We're going to continue. This gives us 2a squared plus 14a minus, combining 289 to the left side, 240, this will be equal to 0. You can pause the video to check what happened, or to, if it's very fast. Okay, let's proceed. Let's put the boundary here. Now, the given is 2a squared plus 14a minus 240. So we can divide both sides by 2 to be able to have a simple equation. So if we're going to divide both sides by 2, we will have a squared plus 7a minus 120 is equal to 0. So if we're going to apply factoring, or we will factor this one, we will arrive with a minus 8 and a plus 15 is equal to 0. I hope you're still familiar with your factoring, or you remember with your factoring. You remember your factoring. Now, so apply the zero product theorem, or the ZPT. So we're going to equate the factors to 0. So equating the factors to 0, we're going to have a minus 8 is equal to 0. On the other hand, you can have a plus 15 is equal to 0. So therefore, we can say that the a is equal to 8 and the a is equal to negative 15. So this will be the two values for your a. So a would be equal to 8, and A could be equal to negative 15.